This is the Oukitel WP22 disassembly. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. Also, if you need any tools, there are links in the description. Before we start, the SIM tray needs to be removed. We can see a red rubber gasket around the SIM tray. Now, heat needs to be applied to the screen using a hairdryer or a heat gun to loosen up the adhesive underneath, and then a suction cup tool and a pry tool can be used to pry the screen off. Just to give you guys a heads up, the glue used to adhere the screen to the frame is extremely strong, so you will need to apply heat over a long period of time, and take your time and have patience prying the screen off. There's a single Phillips screw which is holding down the cover for the screen connector. The battery cable and the screen cable can now be disconnected. And here's a look at the back of the screen. There are now 14 Phillips screws which need to be removed. The flex cable for the proximity sensor needs to be peeled off from the midframe. And here's a look at the aluminum midframe. This flex cable connecting the main board to the subboard, as well as the rest of the flex cables, can be disconnected. There's an adhesive pull pouch to help you pry the battery off. Here's a better look at the 10,000 mAh battery. And this battery is basically two 5,000 mAh batteries put together to operate as one. There are 5 Phillips screws which are holding down the main board. The black coaxial cable on the bottom side of the board needs to be disconnected by just popping it off. Taking a look at the main board, we can see copper tape over the shields to help transfer heat, and the SIM and memory card reader located here. There's more copper tape on the back shields, and the proximity sensor flex cable is connected over here. This flex cable can be disconnected and replaced by just popping it off. At this point, the flex cable for the NFC antenna needs to be peeled off, as well as the flex cable for the earpiece speaker, and this flex cable right over here. Four more Phillips screws have to be removed. The 16 megapixel front facing camera is adhered to this plastic assembly, and if you needed to replace that, you can just heat it up and pry it off. Looking at the other side, we can see the 48 megapixel primary camera, the dual LED flash, the 36mm speaker, the 20 megapixel night vision camera, and the night vision lights. Neither camera have OIS or optical image stabilization. There is also some antenna flex cables on this plastic assembly. Here's a look at the 2 megapixel macro camera. There are 3 Phillips screws which are holding down the subboard. Looking at the subboard, we can see the charger port located in the center. There's a vibrator motor soldered to the backside of the subboard. The flex cable for the FM radio antenna needs to be peeled off from this plastic assembly. There's one last Phillips screw that has to be removed. The primary microphone is adhered to this plastic assembly, and there's another antenna flex cable. The earpiece speaker is located on top, which is held in place with a cure-in-place gasket. If you need to replace the buttons on either side, there are 4 T4 or Torx 4 screws which need to be removed in order to remove the metal plate and have access to the buttons. There are also cure-in-place gaskets for the waterproofing, so you'll have to peel those off with a razor blade or an X-Acto knife. As for the camera lens covers, those can be replaced by applying heat and gently prying them off, so you won't need to take apart the phone to replace those. For the repairability score on this phone, I give it a 5 out of 10. Now it's time to put this phone back together. Once everything's back together, power on the phone, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.